Hello guys, welcome back once again to another episode of Learn Data Analytics with Blessing. I want to believe you are all doing well. In this video we're looking at DAX, that is data analysis expression. What do we understand by DAX? DAX is that formula language that is used in Power BI, in Excel. We've done it in Microsoft Excel to just create custom calculations and perform some advanced data analysis. It's very much similar to the Excel formula, but it's much more powerful. It is designed to work specifically for some data models and large data sets. Alright, what are the key features of DAX? DAX can be used to create calculated columns. It can be used to create measures and tables to just enhance your data model. You can also use DAX for performing calculations like getting totals, average, or count. You can also use DAX function to define custom filters and condition to work with subset of data. If you want to filter based on a particular condition, you can use DAX to do that. So why is DAX important? It's important because with DAX you can build some key performance indicator from your data. You can create dynamic and reusable measures for interactive report. So what can you use do with DAX? What can you use DAX to do? With DAX you can do some basic calculation, like you want to find sum of revenue, total number of customers, the number of products. You want to find the number of customers that are females or male. You can use DAX to do that. Different calculations, create advanced relationships, and the like. So let's just move into the part. And for DAX, we have different DAX functions. We have there are the math and stats functions. We have the text functions. We have date functions. We have time intelligence functions. These are DAX. Under DAX, we have table functions. There are many functions. So the ones we'll be looking at today is just look at the math and stats function, that is using the sum, count or distance count, maximum, minimum, and also how you can use arithmetic operators such as plus, minus, times, divide to get either create measures or to create calculated columns. So one thing you should note, remember I said that you can use DAX to create calculated measures and calculated columns. Calculated columns, these are columns that you create based on the existing data using formulas, which could either be DAX or arithmetic operators, and measures are their metrics that you calculate or their numerical values calculate using DAX. For example, you want to find total customers, you get a number. You want to find total revenue, you get a number. You want to find total profit, you get the number for it, a value for it. That is, when it comes to measures, you just get numerical values. But calculated columns are columns that you see there on your data because you generated them based on the existing data you have there using a formula. So let's just go straight. Now let's say I already deleted all the visuals we created in our last video, so you can just delete them by yourself so that you can work on other things. Now first, when it comes to creating measure, I always like that we have another table entirely that I can store all my measures in it, not add it to. The only thing I would want to allow is the calculated columns to be with the tables here, but measures should be in a separate table. So let's just go and check. Let's check our sales pack table first of all, and sales packs table. Do that in the table view. So here in the table view, select your sales pack table. You might find the revenue part on your own data set, the data set I'll be sending to you. Do well to delete it because that's not, the calculation is not correct. To get revenue, it is order quantity multiplied by unit price, but if you check yours, is not correct. So I deleted mine here. And how do you delete? I will just use this as an example. Let's say I want to delete the unit cost. I will just select it and right click. Then you see delete from model. The moment I hit delete from model, you can see this delete column dialog box. It appears telling you, are you sure you want to delete? Then you hit yes. But I'm not deleting this one, so I'll just cancel this. You can delete yours. So for us to add the revenue column, you want to get revenue, it's going to be order quantity multiplied by the unit price. And how do we do this? To do this, you want to add a calculated column. All I have to do is to select the table name, right click on it, and you'd see new column, or here you would see we have new column here. Anyone you want to choose, I'll choose this. So I'm going to show you how to use arithmetic operator to create another column. So the moment I do that, you can see we have column equal to here on the formula bar. I'll rename this, I'll give it revenue. Then I'll come here. Now remember, in Microsoft Excel you have to put colon before your equal to, but here just type in your equal to and you're good to go. So equal to what? I want to multiply order quantity. So here it's telling you this is order quantity coming from this table. So I'll select it, multiply by shift 8, multiply by the unit price. So I'll type in unit price, just type it in. As I'm typing it, you need to bring it out for you. So unit price, then I'm going to hit enter. Just enter it. So you can see now that we have a newly generated column based on the existing data here, just using the arithmetic operator. So if I want to find the profit is going to be revenue minus cost. The same thing, select the table, right click, then you see new column. Once it pops up on the formula bar, I would change that from column to profit. So I'll come here and type in profit. Then I would say my revenue, which is this one, select it, minus the cost. So I'll type in cost. Be sure that you are picking cost and not unit cost. Then I'll hit enter. It will help me calculate the profit. So waiting for it. Yes, profit. Now I'm going to go back to the report view. Going inside the text box. I'm inside the text box now. I want to look at the mathematical Dax function, which is, we're going to look at sum, we'll look at count, we'll look at distance count, we'll look at count row, and we'll also look at minimum and maximum. Okay, just this once for now. Okay, this one's for now. Let's assume I want to find the total number of revenue, total profit. I also want to find total customer, and I want to find total product. To do that, first, when it comes to measures, we have implicit measures and we have explicit measures. Implicit measures are measures you just get. Don't forget I said measures are the numerical values. They are what you calculate, you perform aggregation on to get. I want to get the total number of customers, but I come here and drag customer ID here, and I drag customer ID and I change this to distance count. No, let me just use count since we don't have duplicate in that lookup for customers, and I'll change this to card visual. I get to see that we have over 8,232 customers. That's the number of customers that we have here. The result I get here by dragging this to this place, this is an implicit measure. Explicit measure are measures you get using DAX to calculate. What do I mean? I'm going to calculate this same number of customers using Dax function. First, I'm going to create a table differently from this one here so that I'll store my measures in them. To do that, I can just select somewhere here. Like I said, select it anywhere. Then you come here and hit new table. Once I hit new table, you would see that the formula bar pops up, waiting for it to pop up, and you can see table here. So I'll just change this from table to key measures. Then all you have to do is just put curly bracket, double quotation mark space, double quotation mark, then close the curly bracket and hit enter. You'll have a table with the name key measures here. Key measure, can you see that? Another way to do this is just go to your model view, right? So I'm waiting for it. Once you go to your model view, you would see this enter data. click on the enter data button. You see it in the data. Then you can change the name here of this table to, let me give this key measures 2, because that's a bit different from the one we have there already. Key measures 2. Then I'll load it in by hitting load. You notice we'd have another table with the name key measures 2. This is how you add tables to your data here. So waiting for it to load that in, waiting for queries. Okay, so you can see that key measures 2, but I don't need key measures 2. I'll just delete that because I already have key measure 1 that I want to work with. So I'm just showing you how you can, create tables. So I'll delete this from the model. Delete from model. So I'm going back to my report view. Once this is done deleting, go back to report view. I also want to use Dax to calculate the total number of customers that we have. So I'll come here to my key measures table, right click and new measure. What do I want to calculate? I want to calculate total number of revenue that we have, total number of customers, total number of products, and total number of profit, total profit. I'll just come here. First, I'm going to start with total revenue. And what do I want to do? I want to sum it. Of course, if you want to get total revenue, you have to sum it. So sum. Then the minute I type in sum, it pops up and I'll click on it. So it's telling you sum is to add all the numbers in a column together, and it only takes one argument, which is the column name you want to sum. The column name I want to sum is the revenue. And where is revenue coming from? From the sales fact table. So I'll click on this and I would close my parentheses and hit enter. Now, one thing about measures is that you cannot see measures. If I come here to my table view and say, okay, I want to see, you notice that it's not displaying the table, the key measure table. Measures are not seen. They can only be seen when you add them to visuals. Unlike this one, sales fact table. If I click on sales fact table, I get to see the 2 columns I created. I get to see their values. So calculated columns can be seen, but measures cannot be seen only if you add them to visuals. Let me go back now, and I'm going to add a new visual, which is a new card visual. I'll add a new card visual. I have it here. Then I'm going to add this total revenue to it. Can you see we have total revenue here? So I'll Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. I'll bring it here. I want to get total number of profits, total profits. So the same thing, select the key measure there, right click, and I would say new measure. What do I want to work with? I want to work with the profits column to get total profit. So total profit, and I would use sum. Then you just type in profit and you get this. Close the parentheses and hit enter. Once it loads that in, you would see, can you see this? Anytime you see this calculator symbol beside any of your column, that means that particular column or that thing you are seeing is a measure. But when you see this other symbol like this is a calculated column. It is the column that was calculated here in the Power BI using a formula or a DAX formula. So I'll run check total revenue and check total profit. What if I don't want to see total revenue and I want to see average revenue? Just go back to that revenue, the total, and I'm going to change this from total revenue to average revenue, and I'll change this from sum to average. Once you type it in average, can you see we have average here? So click on average and hit enter. It changes that from total revenue to average revenue, which is a name, whatever name you specify for it to be. Average. So let's wait for it. You see that it's average revenue. So next thing we are going to look at is, I said total profit. Now let's look at total customers. Now when it comes to checking, we have the customer ID here in the customer lookup table, and we also have it here in the sales fact table. But don't forget, here in sales fact table we have duplicate of customer ID, but here in customer lookup we only have unique value. We don't have duplicate because we removed the duplicate already in the Power Query. So if you are going to be working with the customer ID here in customer lookup, no, you're just using count. But if you are working with the customer ID here in the sales fact table, be sure that you'll be using distinct count if you want to get the correct value. To do this, I want to create a new measure, giving it total customers. So new measure, and I would rename this to be total customers. So total customers, and I would say, if I'm going to work with the lookup, let's say I'm working with the customer lookup table, I'll just use count. What do you want to count? It takes only one argument. I want to count the customer ID, so it brings out customer ID here. Then I'll close my parentheses and hit enter, and I'll get the results for customer, total customer. So here we have total customer. So I'll copy this again, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V to paste it. Then I'll change this from total profit to total customer. Can you see we have the same value? Now we call this one that we only drag to this place, we call it implicit measures, and we call this one that was created with a formula, we call it explicit measures. Please note that I don't forget. Then the last thing, not last, total product. Want to get total product, so I'm just going to do create it again. Right click and select this, or just come here and click on new measure. It's still the same thing. So I'll hit new measure, and I want to get total product. So I'll come here and type in total product. Then I would say okay. Now let's use distinct count here. Let's assume I want to work with the product ID in the sales fact table. So I'll use distinct count. And what distinct count does, let's see, count the number of distinct values in a column. Then what I want to work with the product ID, where is it coming from? Since I'm using distinct count, I want to count all the unique values in the sales fact table where the product ID is in there. I'll select that and close my parentheses. Then I'll hit enter, and I have a result. It's working on it. So you can see we have total products. So Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V to paste this visual again. Then I'll uncheck the box here and check total products. You can see we have over 130 products. And the next thing, we've checked for sum, how you can use sum, how you can use count and distinct count. So let's say I want to get total number of orders placed. We know that for this sales fact table, let me open that in the table view. We know that the sales fact table here is showing us all the records of orders that have been placed so far. So it's not bad if I say I want to count all the rows to know all the number of orders that have been placed. This is where using count rows comes in. So to get that, right click, I want to get total orders, right click, new measure, count rows will count all the rows in your table to count all the rows in your data. New measure, then I would change this and give it, I would say total orders, and I would use count rows. Hit this, then it asks what's it does take the table. The table I want to work with is sales fact table, so I'll just select sales fact table and I'll close my parentheses and hit enter, and I get a result for it. So you can see we have total orders. So to duplicate this, select the visual, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and I'll paste it here. Then I would uncheck total product and check total orders. Then the last two that we're looking at is minimum. You want to find minimum profit, maximum profit. So how do I do this? The same method, key measures, right click, new measure, and I would say maximum profit. So maximum profit, that's max profit. Want to know the highest profit that has been made, maximum profit. Then we use the function max. You can see max, it says returns the largest numeric value or largest string in a column, or the largest value between two scalar expression. Ignores the logical values, so it's just return the largest, and it takes column name or scalar. Since we are working with the column name, now type in profit. The moment I type in profit, it tells me this is where it's coming from. So I hit profit, I know, close that, hit enter. We have our maximum. I'm also going to do for minimum. So we have our maximum profit. So I'm going to do the same thing for minimum. Right click, new measure. Okay, so minimum profit, and I'll type in mean. When I type in mean, I get to see this mean, and it doesn't only takes this. Anytime you see arguments in this square bracket, it means they are optional, so you can decide to and decide not to, and that is we are dealing with scalar. Now the scalar is if you want to add in the numbers, you want to add in 100, 2, 5, 6, and say bring out the minimum, it would do that. But we're working with the column this time around, so just type in profit, and the profit is coming from the sales 2021 2016 table. So I'll hit this, close my parentheses, and hit enter, and I get a result for that. So let me just copy these visuals, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. I'll copy them, V, so I can change it, and you get to see the one for minimum and maximum. So minimum for this, so the minimum profit is just $1, and I'll uncheck this and check for maximum profit. So what this two means is that here the least amount here in the profit is 1, then the highest is 26k. That is what it means. So I'm going to just go back. That's what it means, maximum profit and minimum profit. So we've checked how you can use all these mathematical Dax functions to generate measures for your data. So let's say I want to find or divide the total revenue by number of customers. I want to get sales per customers. So to do that, for me to get sales per customers, come here, right click, and I'll click on new measures. To get sales per customers, I'll use the function divide. So waiting for it to pop up, I'll come here and I would say divide. Let me just put sales per customer first. Then I'll use divide. You can see that here, divide. So the first thing it takes is the numerator. The numerator is going to be the revenue. So I'm going to type in total revenue. Now your numerator could be either a Dax formula, which is going to be sum revenue column, or since you already calculated the measure for total revenue, just type in total revenue and it will bring that out. So total revenue. Now let's see, did you calculate total revenue? Okay, we've changed that from total to average, so let's just calculate total revenue. Now let's calculate total revenue, or since we can just do it straight, let me still use the sales per customer, and it's going to be equal to divide, then numerator is going to be sum. So it's going to be sum what? I'm going to sum the revenue. So you can do it straight. You cannot just add only the measures, you can also type in the formula there directly. So revenue. So what do you want to do? What else after this one? Make sure to close this parenthesis for this sum. So I'm saying sum the revenue. Once you are done, that's my numerator, comma. What else do you want to do? Then find the total number of customers. So I can either type in this total customer since it's completed already, or just use the formula. If I'm going by using the formula for everything, I'll just use count what? I'm counting customer ID. Where is it coming from? Customer ID coming from the lookup table. Then I'll close my parentheses. So you can see it's highlighted this and this to tell you that the parenthesis is complete. Then I'll hit enter, and that should give us sales per customers. So let's wait for it to load and we'll get our result. Sales per customers. Then we have this. So if I Ctrl C and Ctrl V this visual again, I have this one here, and I uncheck the box to check sales per customer. So we have this. Another way, you can also use slash to get the same result that you use divide to get. And what do I mean? Going back, right click, and I'll say new measure again. This time around, I'm just going to put sales per customer 2. Then okay, so now we have this. So I would say sales per customer 2, because you can't have the same two columns with the same name. I mean, so I would sum of the revenue, right? Close the parenthesis, then slash. This slash is also for division. So slash what? Like either I type in total customer like that, or let's type in total customer straight, or you see apply the same formula as the first one. Then I'm going to hit enter. Once I do this, let's see if we'll get the same result as the one we have here. So I'm going to Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V and paste it. Let's see if we have the same result. Then uncheck this and check this one. Can you see we have the same result? So it's still the same thing. So this is how you use the arithmetic operators such as plus, minus, asterisk, that is for times, then slash for division. There's also caret. I don't know if you know the caret sign. Caret sign is used for exponential. That's for arithmetic operators. Then for the math Dax function, that's your sum, your count, distance count, count rows, minimum, maximum, and we did for average too. Average. So average. So I hope we've been able to get one or two from this video. In our next video, we'll be looking at other Dax function that you can use to create calculated measures, calculated columns, and measures too. Thank you. We'll meet in our next video. Bye.